Good morning, fiber friends. Welcome to another episode of the Knit, Knot, and Weave podcast. My name is Dorothy, and I am coming to you from Columbia, Maryland. That is approximately halfway between Baltimore and DC. If you are a new viewer, welcome to the show. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for joining me again. It means a lot to me that you come and watch my little corner of the YouTube, and I hope you enjoy what I'm showing you. Today is October 29th, Sunday. I promised you guys an episode to catch you up where I am on my blankets. So I have one finished blanket, and I have 5 blankets in progress. And without further ado, grab yourself something to drink. I am enjoying a cup of tea this morning in my Fuck Off I'm Weaving mug that I got at Maryland Sheep and Wool. And this is Stash tea. It's I think it's a strawberry pomegranate tea. And I also have my water with me. Grab your knitting, your crocheting, and join me. Let's see, what have I been up to since our last podcast? I have been going to work. Work has been a little weird lately. We've had a lot of emergencies. Last week, unfortunately, we did have a bomb threat in the school, and we had to evacuate. It was early in the morning. Thankfully, it was a nice day, because we wound up being outside for almost 2 hours before the police department cleared the school and said that we were okay to go back in. And then, is it Thursday? Yes, Thursday, we came so close to having school canceled just for our building, because one of our science teachers, I don't know why, but she used one of the emergency shower heads to put water into her compost pile for the worms. And unfortunately, well, I guess it's a good thing and a bad thing. When she went to go turn the water off, because apparently it has a shutoff valve, which I learned from my sister, who is an architectural engineer and does a lot of building of science labs and stuff, that there should not have been a shutoff for it. But when she went to go switch the valve back up to shut it off, something apparently broke, because when she turned it on, it was just trickling down, and when she turned it off, the floodgates opened up. So all this water comes pouring out, and according to my sister, it's meant to do that, but it's only meant to be on either for a certain amount of time, like maybe a minute or two, or just it's only supposed to flush out a certain amount of gallons, so that, the person standing I can speak this morning. The person standing under it will get drenched and will wash off whatever chemical it is that's on them that's burning. Unfortunately, this one did not shut off, and so the classroom got flooded. So there is no drain valve underneath where this shower head is, and the water went through the floor and flooded the classroom underneath. So I had 2 classes in the media center all day that day. Fun. Actually, it wasn't bad. Luckily, the 2 classes that came in, the kids were really good, and I got to see kids that day, so that was fun. Friday, it must have gotten fixed, surprisingly, because in our county, usually it takes forever to fix something. and they were back in their classrooms. And then Saturday, I went to the Frederick Fiber Festival, which was a lot of fun. I did not attend Rhinebeck this year, and in some ways, I think at first I was feeling a little FOMO, but then after what I heard about the debacle of Woolen Folk, which saddens me greatly, and I'm sure you probably have all heard about it by now, I'm glad I wasn't there because I had such great memories from attending that event last year. But I will not be talking about Woolen Folk because I did not attend. But if you don't know what happened and you would like to know what happened, by all means, please go and watch the Lola Bean episode. Lola Bean has a YouTube and she talks about what happened. Tania from the Breakfast Crew shares her experience of what happened at Woolen Folk. I'm sure there are links in Reddit about what happened. Tony Lipsy from TL Yarn Crafts talks about it, and it was just a mess. But while I was at the Frederick Fiber Festival, a few of the vendors that were at Woolen Folk were also vending at the Frederick Fiber Festival, so I got to speak to a few of them, and I did purchase some yarn from a few of them to help them out. And I will also link I will have a link below in the description box. So if you go just under my video, you will probably see either where it says more, or it has like a little down arrow, and that'll get you into the description box. I will have links. Someone put together a page with links to all the vendors that were in Woolen Folk. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about it since I wasn't there, but I'm sure you could put in Woolen Folk recap and you'll find everything that you need to find on YouTube. Let's get started with my first finished object, or rather my only finished object for this episode, and it is the Anthology Throw by Helen Stewart. I used my Mystic Fiber Company Advent from 2022. It was the Be Blessed Advent, and I'm not going to be able to show you the whole blanket, but I will put a picture of it laid out on my bed. It is not blocked yet because I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to be able to block this, because it is approximately 60 inches across now and it's not blocked yet. But I did the Russian joins between the colors. Now that I see it, I probably should have done some sort of faded stripes to go in, but I thought the colors faded together really nicely and didn't need it, but some of them did and some of them didn't. But all in all, I think it is just stunning. There was 25 20-gram advents, 25 20-gram skeins in this advent. It was 100% superwash merino yarn. I can speak this morning. And each mini skein was 80 yards each. And I used every bit of it. I did an extra repeat in the main body because I had so much still. And then when I got to the edging, I just continued to repeat the edging until I felt like I had enough to just bind off, and I did have just a little nugget left over. So I have, and I forgot to bring it up, didn't I? Shoot. I have all of the yarns that were used to tie the skeins together. I have them all lined up on a piece of tape. So they're still a little wrinkled, but I was going to wet block them and see if these darker colors are going to bleed. Hopefully not, because if they do, I don't know how I'm going to block it yet. If you have any suggestions or ideas, let me know in the comments below. but I'm going to use those little skein, and maybe I'll take a picture and put it up here so you can see what I'm talking about. I have about three or four strands of each of the 25 colors, and they're all lined up in the order of the blanket from 1 to 25. And I kept them because I want to put them in my project book. And so I'm probably going to wet block them, A, to see if the darker colors bleed, but 2, also to get them to lay flatter, because right now they're all crinkled up. And so that is my anthology throw. And here, if you could see, what was this for? I just saw a little. Oh, so here is where the original was supposed to stop according to the pattern. But I did approximately 2 more inches in the regular pattern before I started the bind off, or not the bind off, the edging pattern. So that is my anthology throw. So next up is my Tetris Afghan. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you everything because it's all in little squares. Now, originally this blanket was designed by Hannan. And with my usual ADHD self, I bought the pattern without taking a good look at it. It was a knitted pattern. I really didn't want to do knitted squares because sometimes I find that my tension in knitting when I'm doing something like this that needs to be joined isn't always great, but my tension with crochet seems to be much better. And maybe that's because I crocheted for many years before I became a knitter. But I am using it just for the layout and to know how many squares I need. So I have all of the colored squares. They're all complete. I have 12 of each, and they're all connected in either 3 or 4 squares. And I'm currently working on the grays and the blacks to surround it. I need 22 more gray ones and 21 more black ones, because in all, well, I shouldn't share how many I need in all because it is a paid for pattern. But this is going to go back on the back burner. It was going to be my sister's Christmas gift this year, but I have decided to make socks for my whole family. And I will show you those a little bit later because they're not done yet. But so that is my Tetris blanket. I am using my Furls crochet hook in a size H. And the yarn I'm using is Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn. This yarn has been in my stash for a while, and some of the colors I picked up at a yarn swap. So no shade for Hobby Lobby yarn. I know I don't go there anymore. I don't purchase anything from them, which is a shame because this acrylic is really nice. But due to, well, if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. But I do not purchase from Hobby Lobby anymore. So next up, I have my granny stripe blanket. Absolutely love this blanket. Sorry, I don't mean to wiggle my phone over there. I am using all fingering weight leftovers or mini skeins to do this one. Every stripe is a different yarn. It may look like there are some repeat colors, but it would be from different dyers. Most of it is indie dyed yarn. Some of it might also be knit pixtrol. It was anything that I had leftovers of in my collection of leftovers, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying. So here I am. Let me see, where did I leave off? I know I saw. So the last time I spoke to you guys, so the last time I shared this, I was over here. You can see my progress keeper. So I had that much done. up to here. And then I have completed all of this. So it is currently 62 inches wide and approximately 69 inches long. It needs to be a little bit longer. I'm thinking I'm going to go to about 82 inches so that it would sort of be the perfect size for a queen bed. So 60 by 80 is what they usually call for a queen. And since this is 62, I'll just do 62 by 82 to keep the proportions right. And then I'm going to put a border around it. I haven't decided what border I'm going to do yet, whether I'm going to do a crocheted I-cord border or if I'm going to try and do something different. I've been searching around on YouTube, and an interesting border I saw on, I think somebody did an Instagram reel or a TikTok reel, but I favorited that, and I may take a look at that one too as well. But so this is the granny stripe blanket. I followed the pattern from Attic 24. Oh, I don't remember how many I cast it on. I want to say maybe 300. But I will link to all my project pages in the description box below, so you can go check it out there to see how many I actually cast it on. I leave the tails, and when I get about 10 or 15 rows done, I will weave in all the tails. So everything before here, all the tails have been woven in already. So this is a nice cozy blanket. I have not been able to work on it much over the summer, especially on hot days, because I would just boil under it. But this will be my blanket. Mine, yay! So that is my granny stripe. I am using a 2.75 millimeter hook. It's the size C. I never go by the US sizes because I have found that depending upon the company that you buy your crochet hooks from, a C could be 275, it could be 3.0. So I try to stick with the millimeter. So this is a Clover or more. Next up is my crocheted linen stitch blanket, which I call the Franken Blanket. I had, oh wow, a crap ton of 5-gram minis that I had collected because I had originally anticipated on doing the sock blanket or the sock blankie that was popular many years ago, and I wanted to try and collect all different colors before I actually got started, and I never wound up doing that blanket. So I made some huge magic balls with those blankets and decided to start this. This one I did cast on 273 or 272 stitches. So it is currently, and this is the oops part of it, at the bottom it is 58 inches across, and I don't know what I did, but where I am right now it is 54 inches across. So somewhere I lost 4 inches. So I will probably have to rip this back, and I'm so upset about that. But let me see if I can find my marker. Where is it? So when I last shared it with you guys, I was here, and I only was here where my Tigger is, and I only had this much done. And I don't know if I crocheted tighter because I had, I did work on this some when I had sprained my wrist, I couldn't work on it a lot because this is the hand that I tension my yarn with, and the way I crochet, I could only get like a row or two done at a time, and then my wrist would just be like, that's it. But since then, I've managed to get all of this completed. But I have a feeling all of this is going to have to be taken out because I don't know how I managed to shrink it by 4 inches. I don't know what I did. But I love how this is coming out. I love the way the colors are marling together. It's just so neat. It's almost as if the yarn, well, at the beginning, I was switching the yarn every 2 rows. So like over here, you could see I used orange. I would use orange and, I don't know, say I would use orange and red for 1 row, and then I would drop the red and I'd pick up a new color and I would do orange and blue, and then I would drop the orange and pick up green and I would do blue and green. So each color was used for 2 rows, but it was never the same 2 colors. And so the marling effect that this has is just beautiful, in my opinion. I love this. It is a nice weighty blanket because it is knit with no, I didn't. Okay. It is knit with 2 fingering yarns held double. And so this is my linen stitch Franken Blanket. I am using a 5.0 millimeter size H Clover Amour hook. And what I have discovered is because I'm holding 2 yarns together for this, I need to use the clover hook over my furls hook because I don't know if you can see the difference. But the furls hook has a very sharp edge on the end of the hook, and sometimes it will grab 1 yarn instead of both, like it splits the 2 yarns, whereas this one has a much more rounded, blunt curve to it. So it helps me grab both strands together and makes it much easier to crochet. Whew. Okay. Next up, I have my Jelly Roll blanket, and it is currently my only knitted blanket that I have on the needles right now. I am using, let me see here, 2.75 millimeter signature needles. They are double points because I did not have straight needles, but I found these cute little needle ends, so I just put it on one end and it keeps my stitches. So here I am. I do not have a progress keeper on this right now, so I don't know where I was when I shared this with you guys the first time, but I want to say I probably was somewhere on this second strip. But this one currently measures 60 inches long, and I've used like barber cords at the end because I haven't figured out what I'm going to do in the end. I did do I did like a slight modification because I did not like the ridge that was happening in the front, so I sort of used the same join from Stephen West's Vertices United shawl, and all the lines, the join lines, are on the back, so you don't see them on the front. Each column is 4 inches wide. So it is currently 16 inches wide, but I am on the 5th column right here. And I'm just using anywhere between 5 and 10 gram leftovers. I'm trying to alternate it so that I don't have too many colors in the same spot. I'm weaving my ends in as I go, but I haven't cut any of them yet. I usually don't cut them until after I've wet blocked or steam blocked the project. And this is a pattern by K. Jones from the Bakery Bears. I cannot speak this morning. Again, this is made with all fingering weight yarns. This has been super fun. This has been my mindless evening knitting when I'm watching movies or other podcasts, because it is just knit, 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 knit. I don't have to think about it. And then I get to play with all kinds of different colors. So this has been really fun. It is possible that as I collect my mini skeins from, oh my God, I'm drawing a complete blank. It's a monthly subscription. Why am I drawing a complete blank right now? Anyway, I will put the name of the company down at the bottom, but it is a subscription where you will get 10 10-gram minis from an indie dyer that they picked for the month. It's a different indie dyer each month. You get 10 10-gram minis. You can buy 2 subscriptions and get 20 10-gram minis, and you will get 20 different colors. I cannot believe I can't think of the name. So that is my Jelly Roll blanket. And I lied, I have 2 other blankets. I have 2 other blankets, but one I cannot find right now. It was my sampler blanket. The pattern is from Lion Brand. And as you know, if you watched my previous episode over the summer, I was doing a lot of purging and cleaning up of my house because my house is small and I have purchased too much stuff, and so I needed to clean a lot of stuff out, and I must have put it away somewhere, and I have not managed to declutter my yarn room yet, so it's in here somewhere, I'm sure. But the last blanket I want to talk about is my Battenburg Blanket. So I figured out that each one of my little crocheted squares is approximately 2 inches. And so if I wanted to make this big enough for my queen size bed, I was going to need, what is it, like 730-ish, I think, colored squares. And I am about 40 or 44 squares short of the colored ones. I have them all layered up in these little baskets that I got from the Container Store. They are, I'm sure it's a little overkill, but they're the waterproof ones, so you can close them and snap them shut, and there's no air supposed to get in. It's supposed to be watertight so that, like, if you have a flood or something, water doesn't get in, but I've never tested that out. But this container has, I think, about 400 squares in it. Yes, because each row is 50, so over 400 squares. Because that would be 100, 2, 3, 4, and then I have a layer on top. But once all those squares are done, I did purchase a cone of superwash undyed wool to put all these together with. I just haven't decided how I want to do that. I'm probably going to test out a couple of different ways. I will try the way that Sandra from Cherry Heart has in her pattern. Because, I'm sorry, this is the Battenburg Blanket by Sandra of Cherry Heart, if I forgot to say that. And I know she has a way to join them so that it's a join as you go, So in the last round of the cream one, I'd be joining all the colored squares, but I'm not sure how I feel about the joins, because her joins would have like ridges on the back of the blanket. And then I know there's like the braided one that would almost make it pop out on the front. So this almost looks like little windows. And I guess if you were doing black, that might be cool, because then these could all look like little stained glass windows. But I'm using cream because I really, really liked how it looked in the pictures in her pattern. So I'm probably going to try a couple of different methods and decide before I start crocheting these all together. And what I was thinking of doing, since I have some colors I have 2 of, some colors I have 3 or 4 of, I was thinking of separating them all out and making a bet. Like if there was 3, I'd put 1 in each pile and start with one pile and connect them all together across the blanket, and then start with the next pile and continue, so that I don't have 2 colors next to each other. I'm probably overthinking this a lot, but that's me and my crazy brain. So this has been a long time in the making. I want to say this is probably, I think I started this in COVID. Yeah, I think I started this in 2020 during COVID. So I have almost enough of the colored ones to get started. And that is it for all my blankets currently. So in my last episode, I did share that I had 2 Halloween advents. And since I have not podcasted in the time that I needed to start opening up, because they only came with 13 mini skeins. It was, 13 the countdown to Halloween. So I'm going to share them with you now. And since I'm probably not going to podcast again before the end of October, I will go ahead and open the last 2 advents with you right now. So first up, we have Polka Dot Creek. And this was their Halloween speckled mini skeins. So the first one is Sarah Sanderson. The next one is Winifred Sanderson and Mary Sanderson. And this was the spell book. This was I Smell Children, my favorite line in that movie. This one is, Salem. This one is the Cauldron. I don't know why, but this one is actually a 10-gram mini. All the rest, this is actually a 20-gram mini. All the rest are 10-gram minis. And then this one is Bill Butcherson. This one is the Black Flame Candle. This one is Max Donovan. This one is Hocus Pocus 2. And then day 12. This one is Danny Dennison, the little girl. And then day 13, which will be on Halloween, is All Hallows Eve. So again, this is the Polka Dot Creek Speckled Advent. It was 13 skeins. I did get a lovely Hocus Pocus Progress Keeper. Hope you can see that. And this neat sticker, Witches Knit Stitches. And there was some candy, but the candy's gone. But so that is my Polka Dot Creek Advent. So the other Advent I had was from Whimsical Woods Yarn Company, and they're the ones that has the collection of ass yarns where everything has the term ass in it. So this one is the Witch's Ass. This one is Wicked Ass. All the names are on the inside of the boxes, which is why I'm looking down. This one is Dead Man's Ass. Black Cat Ass. Nightmare on Ash Street, which I think is perfect. Jacko Ass. Quoth the Raven Ass. Pumpkin Spiced Ass. Eerie Glow Ass. Grave Robbing Ass. The Bride of Frankenstein Ass. And then I have two more, plus a full skein. So number 12. Ooh. And you can see she put the colors inside the box. This one is Pointer Ass. Don't know what that's supposed to be, but that's a gorgeous color. And let's see, what is lucky number 13? Ghost Ass. Pretty. So that's the mini set. Now I'm going to open up the full skein. Witch Ass Shit. Very cute. So that is that collection. And with that, I got a whole bunch of Halloween stickers. Arsenic. Planchette. Luna Moth. Another planchette. I got these cute haunted house needle end stoppers. There is a glow-in-the-dark skull shawl pin. There is a Raven Progress Keeper. And then in this bag, it says glow-in-the-dark. What's in here? Ooh, more stitch markers. A little kitty. Bunch of spooky eyes. A star. A pink bat. I'm guessing that'll glow in the dark. And a pumpkin. And again, there were some treats in here too, but the treats were eaten. So those were my Halloween Advents. Oh, and I got a little bit of, in that one, Halloween washi tape. So next up, I'm just going to share with you a couple of acquisitions that I purchased. I'm going to share what I got at the Frederick Fiber Festival and one Etsy purchase. So I've seen these all around. This is from Charmed Dreams. And they're row keepers. So if you have to do like 10 rows and then do something, or 5 rows and then do something, you can use these so that there's a whole bunch of different numbers on them. And as you get to it, when you get to the next number, you just switch the stitch marker so that you always know where you are. I thought that was neat to use on my socks because I like to put stitch markers every 10 rows so that I know exactly how long, where I need to like mark for my heel or when to start my heel. So on Saturday, yesterday, I went to the Frederick Fiber Festival. Obviously, I cannot say that 3 times fast. With a bunch of my knitting friends from my knitting group. And one of the booths was Knit Locally, which is a local yarn shop. And they had a bunch of Madeline Tosh on sale for $20 a skein. And I happened to find these 3 skeins, which are called Penumbra. It's a really, really pretty purple. And I was thinking, I tried to find something to coordinate with, and the only thing I could find was Dark Moon. So I was thinking if I find or if I dye a mohair or a Suri alpaca silk, I should have enough to make like a DK pullover sweater. Couldn't resist. I mean, $20 for Madeline Tosh. And then I stopped at Wool and Vinyl and I picked up two gnome stitch needlepoint protectors, little murdering gnomes. I love my gnomes. Then I stopped at this booth called the Yarnsmith. And they had their show colors on sale for $20. And this is So Inclined, which is a beautiful, beautiful autumnal color. And they actually had this knitted up in this shawl, be like a sunflower. And it looked stunning. So it's a crochet pattern. I believe the pattern is available on Ravelry as well. But mine came with the sock yarn, so I'll be making that at some point. And then they had this Christmas color. And it's called, what's it called? Need a Little Christmas. So I bought it in fingering weight. And I also bought it in worsted weight because I thought it'd be pretty as a hat too. But that was fun. And then I stopped by Robin's Promise, which is one of the yarn shops that was at Woolen Folk. And I picked up 2 skeins from her. I know they look very similar, but they are not. This one is called Pheasant Feathers in the Sun. It's beautiful, like pinks and oranges with black speckles. And then I picked up their Woolen Folk colorway, New York State Fall, which again has the pinks and oranges, but it's got some greens in here. It's got some browns. I know, I couldn't decide, so I got them both. Stopped by Polymorph Dye Works. And I picked up a mini, just because this color called to me. So I got one little mini. And then I got this cute, cute little Notions bag, or maybe even a sock bag. And it has all these little yarn balls on it, and it's like from the sea, and they're called yarnicles. And then being that we're in Maryland, I couldn't resist the little Maryland crab up there knitting, so I had to get it. I thought it was very cute. There was one more Woolen Folk vendor, but she was only selling stitch markers and stickers. And I bought 2 stickers. They were yarn bombs, and I gave one to my friend Ellen. And I don't know where mine is. Mine's probably in my purse. But that was all that I purchased from the Frederick Fiber Festival. I didn't need any more yarn. I'm still trying to knit as much as I can from my stash. I did manage to see Aquila while I was there, and a few weeks ago I had sent her some Christmas skeins and asked her if she would crank them up for me and if she'd be able to do it before the end of October, because they were going to be all my Christmas socks for my family. Like I said in my previous podcast, I had sprained my wrist, and then I had a really weird issue of sciatica for a couple of weeks, and I had fallen, I had some depression episodes, and I'd fallen behind on my Christmas knitting. So I had asked her to crank me up some sock tubes on her circular knitting machine. And so these were all Christmas sock yarns that I bought from Hobbii, Hobbii, the Denmark company. And here is, okay, well, they don't have names on it. But here are 2 sparkle yarns that I purchased. So these will probably be for some of my nieces. And it's actually a very sturdy yarn. And there was good yardage in it too. Almost 460 yards in each skein. So I should be able to get two pairs of socks from each tube. Here's another one. And I had 3 tubes cranked up at 72 inches. And that's going to be for 4 different men in the family. And all the rest were done on 64 stitch crimp. And all the rest were done on a 64-inch cylinder. 64 stitch cylinder, not 64 inches. And I've already started. Why do I keep saying and God, my public speaking teacher would shoot me right now. And then these are the last 2. Those were all 64 inches. And then this one is 72 inches. So I've already done 1 pair of socks out of this tube, and this is all that's left over. So part of this is going to be done on the heels. These are going to be my dad's. And then these 2, they're the exact same colorway. So I should be able to get a pair out of this one, a pair out of this one, and then if I have this much left over, I'll be able to get the 3rd pair. So that will cover all the men in my family. And Aquila, if you're watching, thank you so much for getting these done for me in time. I truly, truly appreciate it. Mwah! Thank you. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe so that you get notification for my next episode and all that jazz. So that is all I have for you today. It's quite a shorter episode, but I am going to put some clips from the Frederick Fiber Festival at the end for you all to enjoy. So happy crocheting, happy knitting. I hope you are enjoying yourselves, and I wish you the best. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Ciao, ciao. If you are a new viewer, welcome to the show. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for joining me again. It means a lot to me that you come and watch my little corner of the YouTube, and I hope you enjoy what I'm showing you. Say hi, Judy.
Hi, Judy.
Started about,
technically I started in 2020 during COVID. I just did it for fun to add to my stash. Somehow I joked that she threw me under the bus to all the yarn stores, and they asked me to start doing little pop-up shows, so I ended up growing Docs and Daddy Knits to an actual company.